The following is a presentation of Spring Hill Sports Live. It's time for Spring Hill High School Athletics. On your home for the Broncos, Spring Hill Sports Live. Spring Hill Sports Live is presented by Strode Orthodontics, creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Learn more at StrodeOrtho.com. Also by Cedar Lake Village, Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning, Elliott Group, Hers Incorporated, J&T Auto Service, Libby Clark at Allstate Insurance, Perfect Detail Salon, Price Chopper, Farm Bureau Financial Services Michael Grant Agency, Scott Electric, Prime Accounting Solutions, Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce, Seats Incorporated, Shoemaker Collision and Paint Center, Spring Hill Recreation Commission, Tony Sidoti Agency Farmers Insurance, Spring Hill Fitness, and Whitesell Optometry Vision Source.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time for the Broncos, right here on your home for Spring Hill High School Athletics, Spring Hill Sports Live.
Good evening. Welcome to Spring Hill High School for some wrestling action tonight here on Spring Hill Sports Live, presented by Strode Orthodontics. We are still waiting to get this try underway, a triangular between Spring Hill, Bonner Springs, and Lewisburg. That's what's happening here tonight on Spring Hill Sports Live. Our first duel will be Spring Hill and Bonner Springs. Bonner Springs, a very good team. They're ranked number 9 in the 5A polls as a team, so that's who Spring Hill will face in their opening duel. Then the middle duel will be Lewisburg against Bonner Springs, and then Spring Hill will face Lewisburg in the night's final duel. So hopefully we get a full slate of matches. Not on the initial card anyway, not a lot of open weights for any of these three teams, so that's good news. That means there'll be plenty of wrestling action tonight. You never like those duels where you get all those open weights and guys just come out of the mat, get their hand raised, but it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of that tonight. I'm with Matt Jones. I'm Bryce Kessler. So it should be a lot of wrestling here tonight and some good action in Spring Hill, Matt.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. Like you said, Bonner's coming in with a strong team, so it should be some good competitive matches this evening.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll be ready to get this duel underway between Spring Hill and Bonner Springs. You're watching Bronco Wrestling on Spring Hill Sports Live.
Are you looking for a trusted heating or air conditioning contractor in the Spring Hill area? Look no further than Comfort Designs. Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning has 100% NATE certified technicians who are friendly, knowledgeable, and ready to help. They'll care for your home and complete the job with speed and precision. Locally owned and operated for more than 20 years, Comfort Designs, Spring Hill's heating and air conditioning company. See all they have to offer at comfortdesigns.net or schedule your appointment at 913-592-4453. Strode Orthodontics is creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. Claire Strode and her staff have decades of combined experience, offering clear and metal Damon smile braces and Invisalign clear aligners for teens and adults. Dr. Strode tailors your treatment to meet your specific needs with 3 convenient locations in Olathe, Overland Park, and Spring Hill. Strode Orthodontics is ready to give you the beautiful smile you've always wanted. Call for your free no-obligation consultation, 913-491-3400, or visit StrodeOrtho.com.
Are you looking for experienced and knowledgeable electrical contractors? Scott Electric is your right choice. We have been providing high-quality electrical repair, remodeling, and troubleshooting services at affordable prices since 1972. Expect the highest attention to detail from start to finish. We are a licensed and insured electrical company. Our residential electrical services include installation of smoke detectors, hot tubs, and basement finishing. No job is too big or too small for our trained electricians. Call for a free estimate.
For over 80 years, Farm Bureau Financial Services agents have built relationships with you, one conversation at a time. And we're as committed as ever to providing you with that level of service. As part of your community, we're here for you, answering insurance questions, and helping make sure your financial goals are on track.
Contact Farm Bureau Financial Agent Michael Grand anytime or learn more at michaelgrand.com.
Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Games weren't on TV. What if grass wasn't just for mowing? What if all the games weren't on TV? What if you saw the grandkids on more than just holidays? What if you got out of the house more often, maybe for good? Cedar Lake Village Senior Living. Life is how you live, not just where. To learn more, call 888-508-2022.
Spring Hill's hometown shop is J&T Auto Service. As a full-service repair shop, J&T Auto Service works on all makes and models. Diesels, Europeans, they do it all. From combines to Corvettes. Visit J&T Auto Service for oil changes, tires, brakes, alignments, electrical diagnostics, and so much more. Small town, friendly service with high-tech tools and training. Schedule your service at J&T Auto Service. Call 913-592-6424. You can also visit jtautoinc.com.
All right, welcome back to Spring Hill High School. Along with Matt Jones, I'm Bryce Kessler. It is wrestling time here on Spring Hill Sports Live, presented by Strode Orthodontics. A triangular tonight. Spring Hill, Lewisburg, Bonner Springs. It'll be Spring Hill and Bonner Springs in our first duel tonight. Bonner Springs does have an open weight class at 106, so Spring Hill's going to pick up 6 points right away. Logan Bates, James Sheldon, both listed in this 106 spot for Spring Hill, so we'll see which one they send out there to get credit for the first victory of the night. But this is going to be a big test, certainly, for Spring Hill. Bonner Springs, currently ranked number 9 by the Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association as a team in Class 5A. And they've got a whole slew of individual ranked wrestlers as well. So they got the JV matches going on as well. So if you hear some extra cheering or anything like that that doesn't seem to correspond with what you're seeing, there's a JV mat just out of the screen to the left. So they're getting that matchup set, and then we'll get the announcement here of our varsity match.
You know, what's interesting now is the varsity duel has the option to draw the weight class that starts, but it's only done sometimes, but I think it adds to the excitement when they can leave the best matches for last.
And it looks like we're going to just start right at 106, which would be open here, and then go to 113. So they're saying not going to start in that random to set up the last match. That means it should be a good one, though. Denver Gardner and Tony Cavallero will be the heavyweight matchup. They met in the semifinals of the. Okay, we went right through 10. Yeah, I think the Spring Hill coaching staff now saying, wait a second, this is our 106 guy. He doesn't have an opponent. So there you go. There's a win for Spring Hill.
You know, sometimes just filling up the weight classes is important so you can get these easy 6 points.
All right, so 6-0 Spring Hill because of that open weight. And now here we got Logan Bates, a freshman for Spring Hill, and Ethan Cook, a freshman for Bonner Springs, at 113 here in this first duel of the night between Spring Hill and Bonner Springs. Ooh. Early control from Cook. And that will end that match very quickly, just 19 seconds in. Ethan Cook, an impressive freshman, won 11 tournaments over his 2-year junior high career, so he is certainly an accomplished wrestler, and it did not take long there as Cook picks up the win by fall just 19 seconds in to that first round.
Yeah, you could tell he's definitely had quite a bit of experience just watching his hips and watching how he defended the other wrestler. That was good defense. And
so Spring Hill now, they are open at 120. So Trayton Marquez for Bonner Springs will pick up the win by forfeit there. So that will move us to 126. And here at 126, it'll be Ryan Paul, a freshman for Spring Hill, against Jace Tapia, a junior, and a good one as well for Bonner Springs, ranked number 6 in 5A right now at 126.
Tapia went 1-2 at state last year, so he's got some good experience.
Third place finisher in the Frontier League Championships last year was Tapia for Bonner Springs. He is one of 6 guys on their roster for this duel that are currently ranked in the KWCA 5A individual rankings.
Spring Hill's doing a good job setting the tone of the match early. He's working the front headlock, it looks like. He's trying for a snake.
Well, Paul, only a freshman, taking on the junior and a state qualifier in Tapia, but not showing to be intimidated at all early on in this one.
Good sprawl, good defense. He's really trying to work that front headlock series.
And
good movement.
Yeah, gets the control there to get the first 2 points.
He'd been trying to set that up for a while, and the Bonner kid stopped moving, and he was able to get the 2.
Good energy early on here by Paul for Spring Hill, who leads 2-0 after the takedown. 30 seconds left in this first period.
Good job following him on top.
Down to 15 seconds left here in the period. Now in the first period here, and a good start here for Ryan Paul as he leads 2-0.
Good, strong first period.
So it'll be Paola, or excuse me, Bonner Springs decision. Tapia opts to start on the bottom side here to start period number 2. Quick to his feet, unable to break that grass and get the escape point, so it'll
got to stop that first move. Locked hands.
And that will give a point to Tapia.
Paul's tough on top.
Well, he has spent the majority of this this match in that position, and they're nearly a reversal.
He also just got warned for his first stalling call. That means he wasn't leaving the hips. He was riding the hips a little too much.
And Tapia's, if he can get rid of that grasp around the legs, he'll be able to spin around and get that reversal. But so far, Paul doing a great job just holding on for dear life down there.
He absolutely is, and sometimes that's what it takes to get a stalemate. Probably should be a stalemate. They called stalling instead. Interesting.
Yeah. It's still 2-1.
Got to climb up from here now. He can't stay low on the legs, and he did a good job reaching up to the upper body. He's really wearing the Bonner kit out.
Tapia has spent this entire match trying to fight his way from the bottom side, and Paul's got 13 seconds to try and finish this period off with a lead.
It's tough being on the bottom for a long period of time, both mentally and physically, exhausting.
So going into third, it's now 2-1 Ryan Paul. Now, Matt, now you got a decision. You've obviously been on top and has been successful if you're Paul, but if you allow Tapia to start on the bottom, you give him a chance for that escape and a 1 point. So he's going to start neutral.
It looks like he's going neutral. I would personally, I would either go down or neutral. So they obviously feel pretty comfortable about his defense and his ability to score a takedown. Obviously, they probably know Tapia must be pretty good on top, so that's why they wanted to avoid it. It's a pretty good position here. He's got a cradle locked up if he can get his hips around.
There he goes. He got it. That's a big 2-point takedown there because that makes it 4-1. Now if you're Tapia, you're looking for that escape into a reversal or some sort to get the 3, but right now you're back in that position where he's been all match, and that's been fighting from the bottom.
Absolutely. He needs an escape and a quick takedown. But he hasn't shown, he's only been to his feet twice, so this is excellent top work from a freshman.
A minute left here in the third.
Needs to make sure he's working out to the side, working pinning combinations, or he's going to get another stalling call. Needs to be careful that he's having action on top.
They go out with 35 seconds. Tapia just looks gassed on the bottom right now.
He does. His head's on the mat. He's beat. And he gives up another stalling point because his head's on the mat.
That makes it a 4-point lead with just 10 seconds left. And it looks like Ryan Paul's going to pick up a nice victory here for Spring Hill.
That's a great job. He's obviously wrestled a lot.
So that will be a 12-6, or excuse me, a 5-1 decision for Ryan Paul. And that's a nice victory right there for Spring Hill. Freshman helping out his team. Gets 3 points for the Broncos with a nice victory. And that will lead us into 132 now, with Miles Bell for Spring Hill, a sophomore, up against Bonner Springs' Brandon Andrew, a junior who is also one of those guys ranked. He's ranked 4th at 132 in the 5A polls.
That was a nice counter to that shot. Very smooth. Good job getting off his back.
Andrew, a 5A state qualifier last year for Bonner Springs. So definitely the aggressor early on here, Brandon Andrew of Bonner Springs. Miles Bell finds himself down 4-0. 28 seconds into this first period.
Good first move. Can't let his hips get low. Good job. He's fighting. That's the second time he's fought off his back.
Couple of near fall points for Andrew. Gives him a 6-0 lead. Again to his feet for Bell, but Andrew unable, or not allowing him anyway to get free. Bell has to fight again, unable to get away that time. He got away a couple times from Andrew, but unable to there.
That's tough. He had a half in, and he didn't have it that deep, but that's a kid from Bonner's a strong kid.
That'll make it 18-9 in favor of Bonner Springs, with Kelson McAllister and Cassius Vanderpool coming up. So Vanderpool for Bonner Springs, McAllister for Spring Hill. McAllister a sophomore, Vanderpool a senior, and a decorated senior at that. Currently ranked number 9 all classes at 138, number 6 in the 5A 138 rankings, 3-time state qualifier.
Scored on a really nice high crotch, very smooth.
Vanderpool, the reigning Frontier League champion. 4th place as a sophomore at state, 6th place last year as a junior at state. So McAllister giving up a lot of experience on this match. Let's see if the young man can show some fight against this senior Vanderpool.
He is. You know, he had a good base when he was on the bottom, which is the most important thing. Good sprawl. Got to keep moving. There you go. Very nice inside trip.
Takedown from Vanderpool makes it 4-1. Only one escape for McAllister, and now some near fall points coming, it looks like, for Vanderpool. He gets 2. McAllister able to get a base back at least. Holds off a 6-1 score heading into the second period.
You know, both the last two kids at Spring Hill have both done a good job getting to their bases and trying to stay off their hips, which is important in wrestling. Once you're on your hips, it's really hard to stay off your back. You got to keep your hips up, keep square.
And I'm not familiar with the entirety of the roster for Spring Hill this year, but they're a very youthful roster here for this duel tonight anyway. A lot of freshmen and sophomores. So far, that's all we've seen from them is freshmen and sophomores, and we still got 3 more freshmen and another sophomore to go tonight for Spring Hill, whereas Bonner Springs, they've got some youth mixed in there as well, but here in these middle weights, they're very experienced.
Absolutely. And in situations where the top guy is the older one, that's common to see. They're usually stronger, more experienced. Working off the bottom is one of the hardest things to develop when you're young. Even if you're good and have experience, getting that first explosive move against a guy that's bigger and stronger than you usually it's tough.
The lead now 10 for Vanderpool after he picks up 3 back points there. And it's 11-1 with a minute left here in this second period. 18-9 the team score right now. So you know Vanderpool for his team is hoping to get 6 points with a fall. McAllister in a tough spot, and
absolutely, that's tough to get out of.
Continue to fend it off. So it will be a win by fall for Vanderpool, and that will make it 24-9 in favor of Bonner Springs. As we will go to 145, and for the first time we'll have one of those experienced guys for Spring Hill, one of their state qualifiers from last year, Zach Knowlton. And this will be Knowlton going up against Cruz Lara, a senior for Bonner Springs.
Lara is interesting because he actually missed the end of the season last year, so he got injured. But I believe he was a state champ the previous year.
Yep.
Nice shot.
And so Lara in the polls is in the 138 rankings, number 1 all class in 138, but for the duel here today, they've put him up at 145. Perhaps trying to give him an extra bit of a challenge with Knowlton, a state qualifier last year for Spring Hill.
For sure. Looks like he's trying to work a little tilt there. Or is very smooth, going from different pinning combinations. One doesn't work, going to the next one, very smooth. Working his chicken wing, which is just like it sounds.
The only thing I know about most of these moves these guys do is that I would not be able to get up off the mat from a lot of them. You got to be more flexible than I am to be a good wrestler, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
How big does the flexibility of a guy play into your success as a wrestler?
You know, it does. Just to some of the guys that get off their back, you can see that the way they can get their arms out, and just, you know, flexibility is huge.
Knowlton almost able to get out of there, but he ran out of time. So it'll be 2-0 Lara as we go to the second period.
Knowlton did a great job fighting. He could have given up some back points and didn't, and Lara was doing some good things. Good first move. He's got to change levels and avoid that initial shot by Bonner. Small little shot fake by Spring Hill. Looks like each of them are starting to be a little cautious now. Not wanting to give up a big move.
Restart here neutral with a 2-1 score. Lara on top for Bonner Springs. A minute left in the second.
Good defense, good reshot.
Needs to pull him back in now. Lara's trying to do everything he can to get out.
You know, that's huge. That I always used to say when I was coaching that the best times to score is after defense. So he had a great sprawl and then immediate reshot to attack. Had he had more space, he probably would have been able to score. Just ran out of room.
Down to 30 seconds left here in this second period. First period takedown for Lara gave him the 2-0 lead. Knowlton with an escape immediately to start this second period. And they'll restart with just 10 seconds left now.
See how cautious they are at the end of the period here.
Early returns would say very.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, we're going to go to the third, 2-1. So again, now if you're Knowlton, I assume you're going to take bottom here. Try to get that escape to tie. All right.
Well, Knowlton took bottom first period, and I think Bonner just took their choice. So they took down.
That's right, because it's Bonner's call, but they would have deferred. They must have deferred their decision.
Yes, exactly.
So
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And there's the escape now for Lara. So now 3-1. Bonner Springs cruise Lara with the lead here. Third period.
Takedown to tie it up. He's going to have to start pushing the pace a little bit here. Came into that shot just a little bit high, Laura's able to defend it pretty well.
So still in wrestling terms, an eternity, a whole minute plus, but at what point do you really got to change your style? Well, maybe not
right
now. Right there. Right there's the takedown for Knowlton.
Great shot, great finish. Explosive, he caught Laura on his heels. Now here's where the strategy comes in. You know, you can hope to ride him, but he didn't ride him very long earlier this period. So since he just took him down, Laura's on the mat, I would cut him if it was me, give him the escape, and then hope to take him down again. You don't want to have a Lara escape with 10 seconds left,
right,
and then you don't have it. There you go. So he needs to attack.
Still got 35 seconds to work with here, and of course a takedown would put Knowlton on top.
Oh, feet were out of bounds. That was close. That was close.
And 29 seconds left here in the third. Lara with the 1-point lead.
Not a good shot. Got to get off his hips. Good scramble, good defense.
20 seconds.
He's setting up. He's trying to set up that double again.
Gets in. Gets it down. And there it is. 13 seconds left.
Up by one.
Now you're obviously going to try to ride it out here for the final 10.
He's got a stall to give, so hold on. Drop to the leg right now. Drop to the leg. Drop to the leg.
Rides him out with 3 seconds. All right, so Lara's going to be looking obviously for that quick escape. 3 seconds left.
Go to the ankle, take it out from under him so he can't get to his feet.
There he did. And a big win for Zach Knowlton right there. A couple of third period takedowns to come from behind and win that one. Big win for Knowlton.
Well, really, Laura, he had a great shot to start the match, but that's pretty much the offense we saw the whole time. Everything else was a counter. What was the more aggressive wrestler? He honestly had 2 other shots that could have been finished against an average wrestler. He battled, and that was a great match, great win.
So that makes it 24-12 on the team score here as we go up to 152. And here we've got Noah Anderton, a freshman for Spring Hill, against Jacob Waller, a senior for Bonner Springs. And this, I've always thought, if you're a bigger kid as a freshman, that 152 and up, you're at a big disadvantage because most of the time you're going to be taking on upperclassmen when you're in those weight classes.
It is really tough. You got to have a lot of experience to compete at that weight.
Spring Hill, they've got 3 freshmen here in the mid to upper 152, 160, and 182 are freshmen for Spring Hill.
And if they're wrestling varsity, they've obviously had some experience.
And in this particular duel anyway, though, that trio of freshmen for Spring Hill will be going up against a senior, a junior, and then actually 1 sophomore. So that'll be a double underclassmen match at 182. There's a 4-1 lead for Waller of Bonner Springs. An escape for Anderton got him his 1 point.
Got a quick 2 there. Oop, almost. Got to circle back inside, get those points.
A 6-1 lead for Bonner Springs, Jacob Waller. Noah Anderton, the freshman for Spring Hill, on the bottom here on the restart with 19 seconds left in the period.
He's working that tripod as his first move from the bottom, but Bonner did a good job defending.
We'll go to the second period. Bonner Springs defers their decision, and Spring Hill's Noah Anderton will start on the top.
Little Granby roll. Nice. Straight to a half. That's tough to defend when you're on top, and next thing you know, Granby roll.
So the win by fall for Waller. And puts Bonner Springs up 30-12 here in the duel. And we will go with Cole McDaniel against Shane Daniels now. There's a freshman, Cole McDaniel, for Spring Hill, a junior, Shane Daniels. 5A state qualifier last year for Bonner Springs. The runner-up in the Frontier League championships last year.
He's driving, he's continued to drive, that's a good thing.
Bring him back into the middle on the restart with 1:25 left in this first period.
Like they're kind of trying to get the head position right now.
Runs out of space. So that at this point, not a lot of action between either of these two guys. What if you have an opponent in either one of them's case right now where you don't feel like the other one's really forcing the issue at much, do you ramp up your
You do, but you want to be smart, because if you get too aggressive, that's exactly what they're wanting you to do. And that seems like the Bonner Springs wrestler is kind of waiting for Spring Hill to make a mistake. And that's just a different type of wrestling, and that's fine. But kids, especially freshmen, when they're not scoring, he's probably been a little bit more of the aggressor. But you don't want to just start taking crazy shots, because that's exactly what the other team wants you to do.
So we'll see if things have a little different look now that we go into the second period. And
got up quick, good first move. Good, kept moving, finally scored. Injury time,
yeah.
It's a great effort on the bottom from Spring Hill. He kept, move one didn't work, move two didn't work. Third time, finally got out.
So they get the injury situation resolved with 1:35 left in the second. And
wait a minute.
I said McDaniel
he escaped.
Got the escape, so it should be neutral here, yeah. So 1-0 Spring Hill's Cole McDaniel with the lead.
A lot of fighting for hand positioning, so there's action going on. Just nobody willing to take a full shot right now. Decent shot, good fit. Oh, great hips. Good scramble.
So both nearly got two. In the end, nobody gets anything on that. And under a minute left now in this second period.
Spring Hill's having to be careful when they shoot. They're going to have to take a calculated shot. I think Bonner Springs is waiting for them to make a mistake.
And if you're McDaniel for Spring Hill, now that you have the lead, I guess you can be a little bit more calculated about it, but that'll get them 2 points.
That'll do it.
And some near fall points coming, if not the pin. Right there it is for McDaniel. So only took one. Finally get a takedown, and it parlays right into a victory.
Well, I don't think he saw that coming. I think he was expecting a shot. and he did something different. He went for the front headlock series and ran a snake. Totally caught him off guard. Great job sensing something and trying to go somewhere different, not just doing the same thing over and over.
So we will go up to 170 now. And for Spring Hill, it'll be junior Fletcher Pankey. And for Bonner Springs, sophomore Nick Fortin.
It's one of the few matches where Spring Hill's got the age.
Yeah.
Good shot. Got a little too high. Great reshot.
Escape for Pankey.
Nice level change. Looking for the double leg. Good defense. Turn this into some points. Again, working that front headlock series. Looking for that cradle.
.15 seconds left.
Ooh.
That'll tie it at 3. So tied at 3. As we start the second period.
Needs to look for that half. Under the armpit, top of the head, get to the side. It's there.
So a point for Bonner Springs. An illegal hold, I think is maybe what they called there.
Yes, but I'm not exactly sure what he did. I didn't catch it. I don't know. Maybe he could have manipulated the arm behind him. I'm really not sure.
So that point gives Fortin a 4-3 lead.
There he's working for that half now. Good job on bottom, moving his hips. He's going to have to come off the hips a little bit to avoid the stall. This position, he's got his arm right on his nose, cross face and kick that leg back and get around behind and restart on top. Easier said than done.
Yeah. If only the other guy would just let you do it, right?
No kidding.
Well, there he goes into a cradle.
That was a great cradle. Hopped over the top. Got to get that knee in the side, stop him from squirming around. Set his hips back a little bit. Ooh, don't. Got to get his head up now.
Nope, got himself in on his.
Drooped his head just enough for that guy to catch it.
So Pankey looked like he was nearing a win by fall, and then instead got himself flipped over on the reversal, and it's Fortin that wins by fall.
Only takes one move sometimes. He'll learn from that, though. They'll work on that in practice. And
so that'll move us to 182, and this will be a freshman for Spring Hill, Casey O'Neill, against a sophomore for Bonner Springs, Shane Curdy.
he's in on the low shot. Potentially dangerous. That means the knee was at an odd position, so.
Two young guys here, freshman and sophomore, up at 182. O'Neill had 4 wins at the junior high level, along with 7 more runner-up finishes for his junior high career. So a successful junior high career from O'Neill here in the varsity level as a freshman now for Spring Hill.
He's very active. He's moving his hands. He's moving his feet. You don't always see that when you get to the upper weight classes, but it's good.
Good shot.
And on the single. Elevate it and climb up. Got the takedown.
Now to 30 seconds left in this first period.
Gotta keep your hips up. Notice how when he hits the side of his hips pop right back off the mat. That's important. If they stay there, the other guy gets position.
So 2-0 lead for Casey O'Neill of Spring Hill as we head to the second period.
He did not look at the coach on that one, because you can see that the coaches are asking him what he's doing, and he went ahead and picked top.
Hopefully he can make his decision pay off.
That's right. That's right. As the coach say, well, better work, buddy. But, you know, if the kid's comfortable in a certain position, then there's a lot to be said about that too. So.
There's the reversal for Curdy, and that ties it at 2. Curdy, as a freshman, was a state qualifier last year, so 2 accomplished young wrestlers here in this match at 182.
A lot of hand fighting going on underneath there. It's hard to see. Get to his base okay, but he needs that second move after that. He needs that explosive stand-up or switch, whatever it is he's going to do. Step 1's there, but he's got to get to step 2 and 3.
Now 30 seconds left in this second period. A stall warning. There he goes.
Good reshot. Got to move those hips a little bit. Good defense by Bonner Springs.
And there's the control by Curdy for Bonner Springs with 5 seconds left in the second period. So a big 2 points to end the period there for Curdy. It'll give him a 4-3 lead going into the third.
had some good shots. Just the second phase of that, finishing, moving your feet. It's just like, tackling in football. If you just run in and make a collision, it's not going to do you any good. You got to keep driving and driving to the ground.
So Curdy chooses to start on bottom here in the third, up by 1. A stall warning has been issued earlier to O'Neill of Spring Hill. Obviously, he's not going to be looking to stall by any means at this point, down a point, but keep it in mind for later potentially.
Be interesting to see how long they keep him on top. Oh.
So now it's a 2-point lead for Bonner Springs, Shane Curdy. Did you see what happened that time?
I couldn't see what happened.
That's twice now, not in this last match, and then this one where we had the illegal hold call for a point for Bonner Springs. So Curdy's up 5-3 here in the third.
He's going to have to turn him.
And that point that that Curdy got for going up 1 to up 2, I imagine kind of changes the strategy a little bit for O'Neill, because you can't really go with let him up and then go to the takedown to tie, and now you got to turn it over and get those near fall points.
Yep, definitely changes his strategy.
Especially when you have.
And he's been the aggressor on offense. He's had more shots.
Right. And at this point, Curdy with the 2-point lead, and as long as he can avoid getting onto his back.
Mm-hmm. He's had some opportunities. He's got his half open right there. If he can run his power half, he's got the opportunity. He needs to get out to the side, tee out.
Trying to.
He needs to grind it.
Curdy's trying to squirm out of bounds.
He is, that's for sure.
And now he's got to pull. If you're O'Neill, you got to try to bring him back in. You don't have room to roll him over at this point.
This is when you hop sides and go right back the other way when he's not expecting it.
Out of bounds they go with 24 seconds left here in the third. Now it's getting down to crunch time here for Casey O'Neill. Got to try to get Curdy turned onto his back and get some near fall points here in this final 24.
He's got him on his hips, needs to hop sides.
Out of 10 seconds. And Curdy will ride it out to finish this one. He wins at 5-3 decision over Casey O'Neill, and that will make it a 39-18 lead for Bonner Springs in this duel with 3 matches to go.
He'll learn a lot from that match because he showed a lot of good things. He was the aggressor on their feet, and he was the aggressor on top. He just couldn't quite get him over. Some experience and some coaching and some drilling.
So that will move us to 195, and an impressive young man for Spring Hill is sophomore Draven Pipkin. And actually, okay, so Tony Fortin, who was listed at 195 for Bonner, scratches. So Pipkin will win that one by forfeit. A little disappointed. I was hoping to get to see Pipkin. He was a state qualifier as a freshman last year, and of course the Bulldog fans know him well from the football field this year.
Absolutely.
Starting running back for the Broncos at a great sophomore season. But we won't get to see him in this duel. Hopefully coming up in the Lewisburg duel, we'll get a chance to watch Pipkin. So instead, we move to Andrew Campbell here for the Broncos at 220 against Nathan Gandy for Bonner Springs.
He's in on a single. Got to keep circling, keep driving.
And Gandy, a freshman only for Bonner Springs. Here in this 220 weight class, Campbell, the junior for Spring Hill.
Campbell had a good shot. He just needs to keep his feet in bounds or else he probably would have had that takedown. Good aggressiveness.
So Bonner Springs with the Curdy decision. They locked up the the team win in this duel. So now the Broncos are going to try to close it out with some strong finishes. Campbell, the aggressor early on in this one. He leads 2-0.
Again, Spring Hill's running the front headlock series. They've been very successful with that this evening.
Gandy out with the escape for one.
Bonner guys trying to fight up top. Good movement by Campbell just to get out of the way. Sometimes you need to get a fresh start. Working a body lock. He keeps hips. Great job with his hips.
There it is. So a pin for Andrew Campbell.
He did a good job. He sunk his hips just low enough. The Bonner Springs wrestler was reaching over the top, and if you change levels just a little bit, it's going to put you in good position every time.
And that makes the score 39-30 with 1 to go. And this will be a good one coming up here, as Denver Gardner will be on the mat for Spring Hill, a senior, against Tony Caballero for Bonner Springs, a junior, ranked number 5 in 5A at heavyweight, a 5A state qualifier last season and a Frontier League champion as well. These two guys, Gardner and Caballero, they wrestled in the semifinals of the Frontier League championships last year. Tony got the best of Denver in that one.
You know, when you watch heavyweight wrestling, it's so much different from the other weight classes because there's so much going on with the hands and getting your body positioned, because you can't just take a bad shot because the match could be over.
Yeah, you end up on your back. One of these boys on you, it's
Yeah.
a lot of times that ends it.
Absolutely. It's a lot more calculated form of wrestling.
Two all-league football players for their respective teams here on the wrestling mat. They've had some battle in the trenches, some battles on the mat. These two guys, I imagine,
know each other
quite well. This is not the first time they've been head-to-head on multiple different sporting venues. Gardner, a first-team academic All-State selection last year for Spring Hill. And they go out with 42 seconds left in this first period.
Got a stalling call. Close. Gardner's really working those underhooks. He's getting position.
There he goes, gets the first takedown.
Stayed in the middle of the mat. That was important this time. The other two positions, he was on the edge. This time, great position, working that power half.
We'll run out of time to finish off that half here in this first, but a 2-0 lead for Denver Gardner at Spring Hill as we go to the second period.
his feet. Good escape. Heavyweight, the least amount of time that you're on the bottom, the better. Underhook again.
All right,
now
let's
he's
see.
got time.
Yep, he's got plenty of time now. 90 seconds plus. Gardner trying to cinch it up and does successfully. So there you go. Denver Gardner lost to Tony Cavallero in the semis of the Frontier League Championships last year, but it's
You wouldn't know it.
It's a little revenge back here.
Absolutely.
And we'll see. Those two might be on a track towards another Frontier League Championship matchup later this year, but nice win there for Denver Gardner. And Spring Hill, they close out this duel strong. They win the last three and close that team score down to just 3 points. But in the end, Bonner Springs does win the team duel tonight, 39-36. The number 9 ranked team in the 5A team rankings gets the 3-point win here. We'll take a quick time. I'll come back and a few final thoughts on this duel before we set up the schedule for the rest of the evening. Again, Bonner Springs wins the duel 39-36 over Spring Hill. We're back with more right after this on Spring Hill Sports Live, presented by Strode Orthodontics.
Are you looking for a trusted heating or air conditioning contractor in the Spring Hill area? Look no further than Comfort Designs. Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning has 100% NATE certified technicians who are friendly, knowledgeable, and ready to help. They'll care for your home and complete the job with speed and precision. Locally owned and operated for more than 20 years, Comfort Designs, Spring Hill's heating and air conditioning company. See all they have to offer at comfortdesigns.net or schedule your appointment at 913-592-4453.
Marine, aviation, a great collision on the field? Awesome. An awesome collision on the road? Not so great. If that bad play does come your way, take your car to Shoemaker Collision and Paint Center. As Kansas City's premier auto collision repair center, they work on all makes and models, even RV, marine, aviation, motorcycles, and more. Shoemaker Collision offers free estimates and loaners, plus they will work with all insurance companies. Get your ride back in the game. Learn more at shoemakercollision.com or call 913-592-0095.
Allowing you to focus on what's important. At Kim Thompson Financial, they focus on protecting your family, saving for retirement, living in retirement, financial strategy, saving for education, and your small business. To learn more, visit Kim Thompson Prudential Financial at the corner of Victory and Webster in Spring Hill or call 913-592-5573. Ensuring the best Prime Accounting Solutions in Spring Hill is here to help you and your business grow. From accounting services to tax planning, Prime Accounting is here to help you meet your goals and achieve your dreams. The accountants at Prime Accounting Solutions stay up to date on the latest news and information, ensuring the best options, services, and returns for you. Give Prime Accounting Solutions a call at 913-592-2050. Visit them at 408 North Webster in Spring Hill or go online to primeaccounting.net.
Welcome back inside Spring Hill High School. Duel number 1 of the night in the books. Bonner Springs 39-36. You can see the team score there. They win this opening duel of the night. Bonner Springs will take on Lewisburg in the next duel, and then Spring Hill against Lewisburg will be our final duel of the night. Along with Matt Jones, I'm Bryce Kessler, and Bonner Springs on paper coming in probably the favorite to win that duel, but Spring Hill held their own, and they end up winning 6 of these matches in this duel with, I guess, one more, 7 wins with the win by that forfeit from Bonner Springs at 106. So decent showing from Spring Hill tonight. I know they came up 3 points short in the duel points, or in the team points here, but they held their own against a good Bonner Springs team.
I would agree. I think overall they were the more aggressive team. Obviously, some of the weights, Bonner Springs just had a kid that was state placer, state champion level wrestler. So, and Spring Hill held their own. I think they did a great job there. Overall, they were more aggressive. Even some of the matches that they lost, they were the ones setting the tone of the match, and that's good going forward. They're so young, so they can build off that and just continue to keep getting better through the season. Yeah,
and it kind of ironically, when you look at the results of this one, Spring Hill, against a lot of those Bonner Springs ranked wrestlers, they had 4 wins against those qualifiers from last year for Bonner Springs.
Sure
and
did.
then Bonner Springs, of their other guys, they had 3 of their other state qualifiers from last year win matches in this one as well. But they're chock full of guys who had experience at the state level, and Spring Hill has a couple of those guys as well, a young team. And again, I don't know if there's some guys that weren't wrestling tonight for Spring Hill that may be in that varsity lineup come later on in the year or not. It's hard to say, especially in 2020 where you've got guys in and out of the lineups all the time for this and that and everything else. But a pretty young team that they're using tonight in this dual roster, and showed some good things in this match tonight this duel against Bonner Springs.
Absolutely. You know, that the win for Knowlton over Laura, that was huge.
Yeah.
Anytime you beat a returning state champion, that's huge, especially for a junior. You know, so that's a good win that he can hold on to, and Laura he'll be coming back. You know, sitting out a whole season, it's still early, it's December, so he'll be back. He showed some really good things, but get some conditioning under his belt, and that'll be a good one to watch again when they meet. I'm sure they'll see each other again. And
with Laura, I'm not sure whether he's, again, early in the season, sometimes you don't know where a guy is going to wrestle. He's listed at 138 in the rankings. He wrestled at 145 against Knowlton in this one. Perhaps he's going to move up to 145 this year. Perhaps they just put him up in that for the opportunity to wrestle a guy like Knowlton in this one. But no doubt the match of the duel, that one between
absolutely.
Knowlton and Laura, that was certainly
definitely
the highlight of this duel, and a 5-4 decision win for Knowlton. Overall, for Spring Hill, Logan Bates gets a win by forfeit. Ryan Paul wins a 5-1 decision over Jace Tapia for Spring Hill. That was a very nice victory as well for a freshman, Ryan Paul. Then Zach Knowlton, the 5-4 decision win. Cole McDaniel gets a win by fall. Draven Pipkin gets the win by forfeit for Bonner Springs. And then Andrew Campbell and Denver Gardner closed out the night, the 220 and heavyweight for Spring Hill with back-to-back wins by fall. The winners for Bonner Springs in this duel, Ethan Cook gets a win by fall. Trayton Marquez wins with an open weight class for Spring Hill. Brandon Andrew and Cassius Vanderpool, a couple of ranked guys for Bonner Springs, both win via fall. Jacob Waller and Nick Fortin also wins by fall. And Shane Curdy with a 5-3 decision over Casey O'Neill for Bonner Springs. And when you tally it all up, it's a 39-36 win for Bonner Springs over Spring Hill. Matt, any other final thoughts on that duel we just watched between Bonner Springs and Spring Hill before we turn the page to our next duels tonight?
Speaking from coaching experience, a lot of teams they have a lot of things that they can go back and talk about, and there's a lot of potential on both teams to be strong coming through the end of the season. So I look forward to watching them as they progress and see some of the people from December into February and the little things that they can correct and work on their conditioning and just keep getting better as they go.
So 39-36, again, the final in our first duel of the night. Bonner Springs with the win over Spring Hill. The next duel of the night will be Lewisburg and Bonner Springs. That one will take place when they get finished up over on Mat 2 with the JV matches currently, and then we'll cap off the night with Spring Hill and Lewisburg duel here at this triangular in Spring Hill. We'll step aside for the moment. When there's more action on the mat, we'll be back here from Spring Hill High School. Until then, keep it right here on Spring Hill Sports Live, presented by Strode Orthodontics.
Weitzel Optometry Vision Source has been the leader in optometry services and vision care in Spring Hill for more than 20 years. Weitzel Optometry offers comprehensive eye care, as well as the latest, most popular lenses and frames for Spring Hill and the surrounding communities. Experience modern eye care with advanced diagnostic technology and vision correction products. And with the experience of Doctors Weitzel and Bloodgood, you're sure to see the results you're looking for. To schedule your appointment, call Weitzel Optometry Vision Source at 913-592-2020.
What if grass wasn't just for mowing? What if all the games weren't on TV? What if you saw the grandkids on more than just holidays? What if you got out of the house more often, maybe for good? Cedar Lake Village Senior Living. Life is how you live, not just where. To learn more, call 888-508-2022.
Or call 913-270-5400. The Anthony Sidoti Agency. Farmers Insurance, proudly serving Spring Hill and cheering on the Broncos.
All right, they are back on the mat. It didn't take long. I thought they were going to wait for the first round of matches over on the JV side to get done, but they just said, you know what, let's keep wrestling. So we are underway in this duel between Lewisburg and Bonner Springs now.
We're all the way. I wonder.
Yeah, they had 2 open weight classes
They had 2,
to start.
okay.
Yeah, so it's 6-6 because Bonner Springs was open at 106 and Lewisburg was open at 113. So this is Ethan Cook against Ryan Owens at 120. Cook for Bonner Springs, Owens for Lewisburg, who's got the lead. Owens a senior, and Cook just a freshman. And it is Owens who leads 2-0 going into the second period.
That tattoo's got to be intimidating for a freshman.
Owens, a 4th place finisher at state last year, 2-time state qualifier.
Owens was very, very patient, waiting to turn him. A lot of young wrestlers, when they get the legs in, they start trying to turn him and get out of control. He was very, very patient, typical of a senior.
And it results in the win by fall for Owens. So let's see whether they've got Cade Holtzen and Kevin Bartlett listed for Lewisburg. So it's going to be Holtzen. And it sounded like they announced Trayton Marquez for Bonner, not Tapia. So Holtzen against Marquez here in this one.
Another state placer, 2 times. I'm sure Owens and Holtzen have some battle in the wrestling room.
Yeah.
It always seems that when you have a really good kid, there's always one either above or below him. And same with Bonner. They had that row of kids.
Yeah. And 2 seniors here. Owens last time and then Holtzen a senior as well. So not only this year and the year prior, but they've probably been going head-to-head with each other in the practice room for a long time, back since they were just real little guys.
You know, and what's interesting, one of them, I believe, Owens maybe, he might have started out in the Olathe South Kids Club. That's pretty common. They kind of go where their parents will take them and looking for different competitions. So it's interesting how the kids, and they'll be from Lewisburg or Bonner, but they'll end up wrestling their kids club for Paola or Spring Hill or wherever the competition is at the time, and they kind of just float around.
Holtzen in control early on in this match, as you would expect with the 2-time state qualifying senior, 2-time state placer as well. 5th place last year, 6th as a sophomore, going up against a freshman in Trayton Marquez here.
Hit a nice tilt to score.
And that's going to do it for that one, as Holtzen gets the pin.
Impressive.
An 18-6 lead for Lewisburg. I believe this is Tapia now in Bartlett. So not Andrew for Bonner Spring. This is Jace Tapia now, and he is taking on a sophomore in Kevin Bartlett.
Nice sweep single. Good defense. Kept moving, didn't give up. Started with the double, changed off to the single. Good finish that time.
I'll restart with 55 seconds left in the first. Tapia trying to get to the cradle.
Lewisburg's doing a good job of keeping in position. He's not balling up, which is important. Working that cradle again, it looks like. Doing a good job hand fighting underneath, trying to keep him from locking that up.
Needs to hold off for another 5 seconds. And does, so we'll go to the second. 2-0 Tapia lead.
Potentially dangerous. That knee was in a funny position. Both wrestlers have done well on top. They're keeping the hip pressure on and making it really difficult for the guy on bottom. Down on that leg again. Just be careful or he's going to get called for stalling.
Tapia unable to escape.
Well, that was his chance. He had some space. That little pause enabled Lewisburg to climb up, reset.
As Tapia gets back down there going, gosh.
Gotta
do this again.
It's exhausting to be on the bottom. It really is, mentally and physically. Everything you try, you get just taken right back down.
Again, almost out. And now he is
Finally
free.
gets out. He earned that one.
Yeah. So the 1-point escape for Tapia gives him a 3-0 lead. Half minute left in this second period.
Shot straight on.
Just 19 seconds left here in the second period. Tapia gets the takedown.
Good takedown near the end of the period. That's a big score.
Yeah, with a 5-0 lead going into the third now for Tapia, at least if you're Tapia now, you're more than just one little fluky thing to go wrong from getting behind, whereas when you're sitting there at 3,
Absolutely.
You're going to start neutral.
Which is they're going to go neutral. He wants to be able to score in bunches. He's been aggressive on his feet. He just hadn't been able to finish. Good reshot. But he didn't finish.
So now Bartlett down 3 here in this third, looking to try to get him turned over on his back and pick up some near fall points. Knowing how tough Tapia was on the bottom earlier, do you dare just say, well, my best shot is to let him up, trying to get a couple takedowns, even though that hasn't worked well either?
You know, I was thinking the exact same thing because, you know, a good rest.
Tapia almost helped him out.
And no control change with that. So if he's going to turn him, he's got to do it, or he's going to have to start cutting him and taking him down at will.
104 left. I have some. An injury timeout or
yeah, it's injury. I don't know what though.
Well, some more time for Bartlett to ponder his strategy here, I guess. Might be some blood involved too.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to clean Bartlett up or get him a drink. He could have taken one of the ribs, I suppose. Just hard to see maybe when they were scrambling.
They are cleaning off the arm of Bartlett, but either way, a lot of time here to I guess, ponder the strategy with 1:04 left and down by 3. Bartlett will be in control. He'll be on the top side on the restart here.
You know, he almost had him turn. It was close if he'd had just a little bit better positioning. But Tapia is a good wrestler. He got out of there and lived to see another day.
All right, so here we go. 1:04 left in this third. Tapia will be on the bottom position on this restart. All right, we're all cleaned up. The referee says, let's go. All right, so Bartlett
looks.
Okay, again, I was going to say, well, maybe he let him up. He didn't give him a point, though, which would have obviously been a point for Tapia if he would have just opted to allow him to start in neutral, which, of course, would have been an option he could have gone with, but all the delay just had him had us confused about where they were starting. So
that happens. That happens.
Well, Tapia up by 3 as he is on the bottom side here now, 49 seconds left.
That was a good stalemate by the official. Basically, a stalemate's when there's no action, so that was good. So they're not milking the clock. They have opportunities to wrestle and not just hold each other.
That's what Bartlett needs to do, wrestle and get Tapia turned on his back. 38 seconds left in this third.
He might come around the front for that.
There's
front
a stall
headlock.
warning as well on Tapia. And they
Got
gave
a
him a
point.
point. So now it's 5-3. And Tapia has to be careful. The time's getting low now, down to 10 seconds. There's an escape.
He's going to need to take him down straight to his back.
Well, 4 seconds. Bartlett needs his best move, and he needs it right away.
That's for sure.
And that will do it. So a 6-3 decision for Jace Tapia.
Good hard-fought match.
Makes it 18-9 now in favor of Lewisburg. And they've already switched up a couple guys, so let's see. Well, I didn't hear the announcement, but it's listed as Vanderpool versus Knoll in this one. Do you happen to hear if they changed any of that?
I couldn't hear him. The Bonner Springs is singlet says Laura, but I don't think that's him. Now, that doesn't mean just because of...
Well, it might be, because Laura is normally at 138. That's where we're at, so. Well, it was quick, so it is say, you're right, it does say Laura on the back of his singlet, so we're going to give it to Cruz Laura there, the victory by pin.
I think that was Vanderpool, though, because I think Laura is the one coming up here, if I recall.
Okay.
'Cause he's a little stouter.
So they may have just shared a singlet. Well, not shared it, but.
You never know with wrestlers.
Well, either way, so we think this is Laura now. That might have been Vanderpool on the last one, although, interestingly enough, Vanderpool is listed in the rankings at 145. Laura is listed in the rankings at 138.
Yeah.
And they had them flip-flopped on the dual sheet for the Spring Hill. And we're not going to have much time to figure out either of them because this one's going to be over here just a bit as well. So there it is.
That's a nasty headlock.
So safe to say, I think Vanderpool and Laura each get wins by fall. Which one was which? We're not 100% sure, but they both win by fall. Now we'll go to Waller and Murphy. As we are quickly now up to 152. The last two matches at 138 and 145 took all of about 20 seconds combined. And it has boosted Bonner Springs into the lead in this duel at 21-18 now. Waller a quick two for Bonner Springs to take quick advantage in this match at 152 with Jesse Murphy. And now Murphy.
Looking for the snake.
Murphy's going to find himself on his back, it looked like, with his last two teammates found themselves against this middle of this Bonner lineup, which is very
tough.
good.
And I think some of them are they're a little upset after the last round because there were some upsets against Spring Hill, and you can tell upperclassmen, they don't usually take that lightly. So there's a little bit different intensity from some of these kids this round.
I agree, and already an 11-0 lead for Waller, who is racking up the near fall points. He's going to get a couple more there. So he is, I don't know why the team score was moving around there, and I don't know if they just put points on the wrong. Well, doesn't matter now. There's another pin. It should be 27-18 now in favor of Bonner Springs. I don't know why they took 4 points off.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So,
As a matter of fact, this match, they need to wait till the clock gets reset here. Hold on, Angelo.
so now Shane
There we
Daniels for Bonner Springs, and Lewisburg is listed as open here at 160. Obviously, they're not. So I don't know whether they moved Jacob Briley, who is listed at 170, or they just. Well, I guess Kevin, well, that'd be a big jump. They had him listed down at 126, and I doubt he's all the way up here at 170.
Can't do that.
So I'm not 100% sure who the Lewisburg wrestler is right now. They did get that team score fixed, you can see as well. 27-18 Bonner Springs. It was 18-6 Lewisburg. And then they got into the meat of this Bonner Springs lineup, and the Braves went to rolling with a decision and then 3 straight pins in the first period, all of them to boot.
And again, they had a quick takedown. He was a lot more aggressive this match.
And you wonder if the coaching point to these Bonner Springs guys between duels was, let's come out here and let's take it to them and not just kind of sit back and wait, as it seemed that was the case on a multitude of those Spring Hill duel matches.
I would say so. They're a different level of intensity.
Daniels may have had his aggressiveness go against him right there.
Absolutely, just got a little out of position. Giving up some back points.
And perhaps more.
Short time.
I'll survive and get into the second period. That's going to be 3 back points to Lewisburg.
That's quite a turn of events in the last minute. He's working the half again. That's what he had success with last time. He's not being shy about it at all. Daniel showing some flexibility. Oop.
Uh-oh. Nice win there. I'm going to see if I can see who this is.
He just beat a state-ranked kid, so.
They're not going to say. So, unfortunately, I can't give proper credit to the young man from Lewisburg who just won that, and a nice win it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah, excellent.
Let's see who they announce. All right, so here's Briley, who is listed at 170. So I was wondering maybe if they had him there, but, well, good win, young man.
Yeah.
Tightens things up on the team score as well, 27-24. So this is Briley against Fortin.
Nice little snatch single there. Can he finish it? Going to try to keep him in bounds, and he does.
Well, Briley, the senior, takes the 2-0 lead. Fortin, a sophomore for Bonner Springs. Fortin to his feet, gets the escape. Briley off balance, went right back in.
Good positioning from Bonner Springs there to avoid the headlock. He's not out of the woods yet, but his hips are back. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
Spin around.
And he's going to end up scoring out of it. Good positioning. Now, sometimes in wrestling, the most important thing you can do is not panic.
Again, one of those easier said than done things, right?
For sure, yeah, very.
You got a guy ripping on your arm, and there you go. Good job on it, getting in that cradle. And he gets the pin. So Fortin, who was behind early on in this one, the sophomore, comes back to beat the senior Briley.
You know, you hear with all the other sports, basketball and football, that it slows down with experience. That's common. And it's the same thing in wrestling. The more experience you have, things slow down and you can react to them quicker.
So that moves us to 182 now, where we'll have Shane Curdy for Bonner Springs and Aiden Barker for Lewisburg. A spot there on the mat to clean up before this match between Curdy and Barker.
That was blocked by the railing. I didn't quite see.
I'm cheating and using the screen in front of me.
Yeah.
Feels a little weird watching it on a screen when you're live in the gym as well, but
it's like at a major football game where you watch it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah. Those Jumbotrons have gotten so jumbo that it's sometimes hard not to watch the screen.
That's right.
Just draws your attention, all the bright lights.
Attempted a throw there.
And there's the control 2-point takedown for Barker. There's a big boom from the other mat over there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering to look over, and it looks like we got heavyweights going, so that would explain the big boom.
It caught my attention, and I have headphones on.
Barker right now, and
potentially dangerous. His arm in the chicken wing went up the back, and that's...
you can see Curdy worked that shoulder after he got up out of there. Tough job being a wrestling official. There's a lot you got to watch and look for, and not only just from the scoring aspect, but making sure the wrestlers are safe as well.
Yeah.
Which is probably more important than any of it.
You see a lot of ex-coaches that have decided to start officiating, which both of these officials used to coach. So it's impressive that they can transition from yelling at the official to being the official.
There's Barker getting Curdy on his back, and that did not last long. Once Barker got him on his back, he had it cinched up and quickly gets the pin.
He is long and lean.
Mm-hmm. And that will again make this interesting in the team points with 3 matches to go here, 33-30. So this one's still certainly up for grabs for both these teams.
Oh, we've got an open.
Bonner Springs open at 195. I guess they were in the Spring Hill one as well.
2 Pipkin would have wrestled.
Yeah. So that certainly big for Lewisburg. Now they lead 36-33 with just 2 matches to go. And here comes Alec Youngren for Lewisburg, a 2-time state qualifier. Took 3rd last year at Olathe South. Never mind, that's going to be open as well. So that will do it. Well, so much for my, here we go. It's going to be exciting in the last 3. I didn't know I was lying to you that we're going to have 2. They're not listed on the initial sheet I was given. They had matches sent for those weight classes. So it take some of the drama away in this final match of the duel. As now Lewisburg will win this duel, but now let's see what Elijah Esslinger and Tony Caballero can give us in this final match.
You know, it's just interesting that Bonner plowed through a couple of those weight classes, but Lewisburg had some good steady wins to stay in it and hang in there. Like I said at the beginning, sometimes just having a full team and not having as many opens, especially in the smaller classes in Kansas. If you can field 14 weight classes, that's important.
Well, it was, we kind of bookended it for Lewisburg here. Lewisburg won 3 of the first 4 matches of this duel, and now they've won the last 3, so they're going to at the very least win 3 of the last 4, if not all 4, to close this one out. And then in the middleweights, it was Bonner Springs who kind of took control and won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row during the from 126 to 152. And then they got the 170 as well. The big turning point of this duel, perhaps at 160, where again, unfortunately, the young man for Lewisburg, who was listed on our sheet as open and wrestled in that spot, beat Shane Daniels, a ranked wrestler for Bonner Springs, one that Bonner probably thought they were going to get. And Lewisburg gets that win. Not only gets the win, but they got the win by fall to get 16 points as well. And that looms large now here in this final match, especially when you're Bonner and you had 2 open weights at 195 and 220.
Mm-hmm. Well, at 220, they wrestled somebody the first round, so I don't know if they just decided to concede it or if the wrestler was hurt or...
And Nathan Gandy, a freshman for Bonner Springs, was their 220, and perhaps they just decided...
Oh, okay, so this is their 220 bumping up, okay.
No, nope. this is Caballero here.
Okay.
But I was just saying, Gandy, the freshman at 220, he was going to go up against Lewisburg's 2-time state qualified, third-place state finisher last year, and Alec Younger, and so maybe they decided that.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll save you the challenge, we'll call it.
Sure.
Or perhaps he came away a little scathed from that last match, a match that he lost by fall against Spring Hill's Andrew Campbell. But you never know.
That's the coaches know the kids best, and they know they're. I mean, if somebody's filling in and they normally wouldn't be in that spot, we don't know that. You got to do what's best for your kid and your teams, and you can't throw somebody out there that you want to rely on them at the end of the year. So this point of the season is just getting better and building and getting your conditioning going, and it's early. Some of these kids are going to come back and beat each other later in the year, and you never know what's going to happen.
And on that note, we'll see what happens in the Lewisburg-Spring Hill match. I'm just looking at, from a lineup perspective, both teams had just one open weight class in their first duel. So, and that was at 113 and 120. So perhaps they'll be courteous. They'll just go double open and move one of those guys, and we'll get a full slate of matches.
That would be fantastic.
That duel between Spring Hill and Lewisburg will be coming up here after this heavyweight match between Esslinger and Caballero. And I don't know if they'll take the same amount of time they did last time, which was only about 5 minutes before they geared back up. So we'll see. But whenever that does happen, we'll be right back with that duel following the conclusion of this one here. Final seconds of this first period. Esslinger for Lewisburg with a 1-0 lead. And that's where it'll be heading into the second period.
He's doing a good job on top. Keeping the hip pressure on him. keeping him flat, won't let him get up on his base. Trying to work that power half.
Almost there.
There he goes.
And that's doing it. So a nice 48-33 victory in this duel for Lewisburg.
You know, Caballero, he was 2-2 at state last year, so he was one match away from placing. So he'll get better. He'll keep coming around. He had a rough night, but
it is certainly early on in the season, and we will take a quick break after this win by Lewisburg, 48-33 over Bonner Springs. When we come back, we'll be set for Lewisburg and Spring Hill, the final duel to close us out here tonight on Spring Hill Sports Live.
Spring Hill is the area. Hers Incorporated in Spring Hill is the area's premier small engine repair shop. Before you place that faulty trimmer or mower, bring it to Hers and let their experts get you back to work. Hers also takes care of hydraulic hoses, cylinder reseal, and mechanical control cables, such as push-pull, brake, throttle, and more. Plus, they carry quality equipment like Bobcat mowers, Steiner tractors, grass trimmers, and more. Hers is even a UPS drop-off station. To learn more,
come and visit us at hersinc.net. Call us at
913-247-3530.
That when it comes to protecting your family, home, and business, look to a local, community-minded agent. In Spring Hill, that's Allstate agent Libby Clark. With more than 15 years of industry experience, Libby and her team are committed to providing a customized family protection plan that fits your needs. A full-service agency, Libby Clark offers a broad range of insurance and financial services, building relationships with a focus on helping their neighbors. That's the Libby Clark Agency. Visit them on the southeast corner of 223rd and Harrison in Spring Hill.
6 a.m. to shop local and save at Price Chopper, your hometown grocery store in Spring Hill. Come see the improvements and upgrades throughout the store. As always, Price Chopper is the place for hand-cut steaks from the meat department, the freshest fruits and vegetables from the produce aisle, and unbeatable flavors from the bakery. From apples to aspirin, Cool Whip to cool crisp lettuce. Price Chopper is now happy to offer curbside pickup, locally owned and operated, and under new management. Price Chopper in Spring Hill, open daily, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Attention to detail. Are you looking for experienced and knowledgeable electrical contractors? Scott Electric is your right choice. We have been providing high-quality electrical repair, remodeling, and troubleshooting services at affordable prices since 1972. Expect the highest attention to detail from start to finish. We are a licensed and insured electrical company. Our residential electrical services include installation of smoke detectors, hot tubs, and basement finishing. No job is too big or too small for our trained electricians. Call for a free estimate.
Pinky Plumbing in Spring Hill is a proud supporter of Bronco Athletics. Keeping your plumbing system in good shape can do wonders for your property's value and lifespan. Get exceptional plumbing services when you hire the plumbing specialist at Pinky Plumbing. At Pinky Plumbing, they take pride in their work and guarantee the best plumbing services in the shortest time possible at the most reasonable price. To learn more, give them a call at 913-568-8201 or visit pinkyplumbing.com. Go Broncos!
You've always. Strode Orthodontics is creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. Claire Strode and her staff have decades of combined experience, offering clear and metal Damon smile braces and Invisalign clear aligners for teens and adults. Dr. Strode tailors your treatment to meet your specific needs with 3 convenient locations in Olathe, Overland Park, and Spring Hill. Strode Orthodontics is ready to give you the beautiful smile you've always wanted. Call for your free no-obligation consultation, 913-491-3400. Or visit StrodeOrtho.com.
A great collision on the field? Awesome. An awesome collision on the road? Not so great. If that bad play does come your way, take your car to Shoemaker Collision and Paint Center. As Kansas City's premier auto collision repair center, they work on all makes and models, even RV, marine, aviation, motorcycles, and more. Shoemaker Collision offers free estimates and loaners, plus they will work with all insurance companies. Get your ride back in the game. Learn more at shoemakercollision.com or call 913-592-0095.
Number one, obviously, is safety. We definitely call 811 to find out if there are any buried lines, fiber optic, whether it be telephone or pipeline or anything. Don't take a chance. Don't think you know and say, well, I don't remember anything being put in there. Call 811 and make sure that that's identified, that there isn't something there before you make that crossing. Because in the end, we want everybody going home.
Love is dancing. At Shriners Hospital for Children, love is a new smile.
At Shriners Hospitals for Children, love is caring for a child regardless of the family's ability to pay. Learn how you can send your love to the rescue at lovetotherescue.org.
The following is a presentation of Spring Hill Sports Live. It's time for Spring Hill High School Athletics. On your home for the Broncos, Spring Hill Sports Live. Spring Hill Sports Live is presented by Strode Orthodontics, creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Learn more at StrodeOrtho.com. Also by Cedar Lake Village, Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning, Elliott Group, Hers Incorporated, J&T Auto Service, Libby Clark at Allstate Insurance, Perfect Detail Salon, Price Chopper, Farm Bureau Financial Services Michael Grant Agency, Scott Electric, Prime Accounting Solutions, Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce, Seats Incorporated, Shoemaker Collision and Paint Center, Spring Hill Recreation Commission, Tony Sidoti Agency Farmers Insurance, Spring Hill Fitness, and Whitesell Optometry Vision Source.
5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, I cut the countdown short, sorry, but we have wrestling action to get to here. Noah Cotter and Logan Bates, our first match as we are back here at Spring Hill High School along with Matt Jones. I'm Bryce Kessler. 106 to start us out here. Bates for Spring Hill and Cotter for Lewisburg. Both guys freshmen to start out this duel. Lewisburg coming off their dual win over Bonner Springs. Spring Hill lost a tight duel to Bonner Springs to start out their night. Bates did not get to wrestle in that Bonner Springs duel. The Braves were open at 106, so this is the first match of the night for Bates and also for Cotter. Because Bonner was open at 106, he didn't get to wrestle either. So both these guys getting their first match in of the night, and the first takedown goes to Cotter, and it results immediately in a pin.
Tough match. He just got caught in a bad position, and like we've said, once you get caught in that bad position, it's tough to rebound from that.
So Lewisburg is open here at 113. So that will give 6 points and the win here at 113 to Spring Hill. And Spring Hill open at 120. So that will give 6 points back to Lewisburg. And I think the rest of the way we should be good. At least both teams were in their first duels. From here on out, they both had wrestlers in each of the weight classes from 126 through heavyweight. So hopefully that's the case. Okay, so this is not Ryan Paul for Spring Hill. It sounded like Grossman maybe was the last name. That's not the name we were given earlier for 126 for Spring Hill. But it is Cade Holtzen, and he's a really good one for Lewisburg. Ranked number 5 in 4A at 126, two-time state qualifier, two-time state placer.
You know, it's interesting following wrestling. You can see some teams that, you know, they form an identity. Last duel, you saw Lewisburg running the cradle a lot over and over. Spring Hill is running the front headlock series consistently.
For a sport that is so individual, I mean, just because the headlock is something that one guy likes as opposed to another, to see a team all kind of run a lot of the same things is kind of interesting.
It's like their identity, you know. Obviously, that comes from the coach, and if you have a couple wrestlers that are really good at that, you'll see the other kids try to emulate that, and you know, a good wrestling coach will go along with that. If you've got 4 or 5 kids that are really good at something, there's no reason to make them change their style. You kind of got to embrace it, and you know, you can't just do one thing, but you got to kind of take what they're good at.
Holtzen trying to lock up a cradle here for Lewisburg. He does.
Nasty crossface to set that up, too.
And Holton dominated his match against Bonner Springs, and he is certainly in control early on in this one. A 5-0 lead with a little under a half minute left in this first period. District champion from last year. Smart young man as well. First team academic All-State. Man, there's another hard cross-face attempt. A senior wrestling here, 126 is Holton, and he's definitely physical with his opponents.
Absolutely is.
Time will run out on the first period. And 2 more points coming to Holton to make it 9-0. Oh, maybe I saw that wrong. Yep, there it goes.
And they're going to go with top. That's probably a good call by coach. I'm not sure if they're checking the score.
Yeah, I think the ref made a couple of signals there right at the end of that period. And I don't know if he was just making sure that what he tried to signal to the scores table is accurately reflected on the score. But 9-0 is.
That's what I had in my head.
Yeah, as did I. All right, so Holton will start on the bottom here to start the second period. Quick
Good
reversal.
Explosive first move.
So if you're Holton from a team scoring standpoint here, you're up 11-0, and you've been dominating this match. Do you have to think about how do you try to get the fall before you bring a tech fall into the equation?
You're exactly right. I think the main thing is he needs to be patient, and he's been kind of scoring in bunches. To the Spring Hills kid credit, he's been fighting off his back, which is important. You know, you'd rather give up 5 than 6. But you could tell he changed it off a little bit there.
And he got the 6 for Cade Holton. I think Grossman was the name I think they announced for Spring Hill, and that was a master's course right there that he just received from a senior in Cade Holton for that young man.
That's a tough one, but you know, hey, some kids are thrown in there against a 2-time state placer and they make it 30 seconds, and he fought off his back a few times, and to his credit, well, I mean, that's a really good wrestler that he just competed against.
So we move on to 132. And it is Miles Bell against, I think, perhaps Kevin Bartlett. As we mentioned right off the top, there's some fluidity sometimes to the lineups when it comes to these wrestling duels. And so we get the dual matchup sheet from the coaches, but then every once in a while those don't run the same way or all the way across the board throughout the duel.
Absolutely.
Or even throughout each duel within a night.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's coaching. They're trying to, you know, you can always move a kid up. Sometimes it's that, and sometimes maybe the kid got hurt last match, or maybe they're just trying to save some points for the season because you only have so many points you can compete in. So.
This year of high school wrestling will be a little bit different for a lot of the teams. Not going to see as many of those big invitational tournaments with the COVID protocols and things in place for this year. So a lot more of these triangulars and quads where a little different feel to it than the big invitationals that every team will go to several throughout the year normally.
Sure, I think, and I was telling you before we started, I think duels are the lifeblood of wrestling. I think, you know, it's something that a fan can watch and say, oh, Spring Hill won that match. They earned 6 points. It's more fan-friendly, and it's more of a team atmosphere because they're all relying on each other. You know, tournaments are great. They're long. They're grueling. And there's a toughness to that, but for getting fan interest in sport and kids to come out, I think the team concept of duels are really, really important.
Of course, limited fans allowed into these events this year as well, so not quite as many people in here to cheer on these guys, but certainly those of you at home watching, we're glad that at least you could tune in to see these duels tonight.
At least mom and dad can come. I know when they originally announced that there'd be no fans, I know that a lot of people were upset. And so it's good that mom and dad can be here to support their sons and daughters.
Yeah, daughters, I'm glad you mentioned that as well. We're supposed to have a varsity girls duel tonight as well as a part of this that we would have had, but unfortunately the numbers for Lewisburg and Bonner Springs on the girls' side were just so low that they canceled that part of the varsity duel tonight, and they're going to try to pick up some other stuff throughout the year for the Spring Hill girls. They've got a pretty good girls team, wrestling team here at Spring Hill, and pretty good numbers on the team as well.
You know, that's credit to the coaching staff that they've embraced women's wrestling, and that's the first step, is getting the coaches on board, and then to get the boys involved and to, you know, compete alongside the female wrestlers. That's fantastic, and it's given a lot of girls that wouldn't normally have a space to be a sport that they excelled at, and it's given them a home and, you know, somewhere to excel.
Still scoreless here, and I didn't change the period for it. We are in the second period, so I'll update that. There you go. Minute 15 left in the second period as these two guys, Bell and Bartlett, both still trying to find an opening to score.
It's been a very conservative match. There's not been a whole lot of big attempts to score. Very cautious.
Does it favor one wrestler over the other as you say go into a third period still scoreless?
If it goes into the third period scoreless, the person which would be Spring Hill that'll choose down, it'll favor them, because typically it's easier to get out from the bottom. I say easy with a grain of salt.
Right. Comparatively speaking, you
have a better chance of getting out from the bottom than you do turning somebody when you have two equally matched wrestlers.
Which this has appeared to be that type of a match, equally matched up here between Bell and Bartlett. Down to 20 seconds left in this second period. Now that's what Bartlett's hoping to do in this final 17, is get that escape point to give himself an opportunity to, at the very least, only allow a tie if Bell is then able to get that same escape in the third.
Went right to the ankle. That was a good move to do off the whistle. Keeps him from standing up.
All right, so here we go into the third. No score in this match. And as you mentioned, Matt, it'll be Spring Hill's decision, and Miles Bell will choose to start on the bottom side here. Looking for that escape. Haven't seen him on the bottom yet, so we don't know what his go-to move is.
Had an explosive first move. Got to get his hips back and stuff the head. He's clearing his hips.
Almost free.
Very close.
Bartlett was
close.
Able to just keep a hold of his leg.
Barely.
To keep enough control in the official's eyes to keep from giving up the escape.
Lewisburg's gonna have to be careful. They're just kind of hanging on at this point. You got to be careful now of stalling calls. I heard the coach, no, don't raise that arm. Don't do that.
All right, down to a minute left here in the third.
Got to keep chain those moves together. Almost a locked hands by Lewisburg.
Avoids going on to his back there. That was big.
He's got some position now.
There he goes.
And he's out.
They give it to him, the escape for Bell. That is a big first point with just 28 seconds left in this third.
Now you have to be aggressive, but you have to be smart aggressive. If you go in flailing around and shooting and trying to score again, you got to be careful. It's got to be very calculated so you don't put yourself in a bad position with this little bit of time left.
Shot by Bartlett.
Got to clear his hips, and he does.
10 seconds.
Good stalemate call by the official. Let him wrestle. Don't just waste time not moving.
So 7 seconds.
But I don't believe he has any stalling calls, so.
I haven't seen no stalling, though.
Just needs to be careful, keep his hips back.
And he did it. With a couple of extra seconds there. The tapper missed, the ref, so he had to go for a couple extra seconds. A 1-0 decision for Miles Bell. That's a good win there.
Hard fought victory. Those one grinders where it's 1-0 and you can't take him down. Nothing seems to work. But he kept moving, kept fighting. That's why you go down in that situation. I almost ate my words, though, because the Lewisburg kid almost turned him.
Yeah. All right, so we go to 138. Kelson McAllister for Spring Hill against Traden Knoll of Lewisburg. Not quite yet. There it goes. There's the 2-point takedown for McAllister.
Kind of had his arm tucked in between on the underneath, so he's got to clear it to score. Got that far wrist control. He's got him on his hip.
There he goes. And that turned quickly for McAllister there. He got him for the first time on his back and didn't last long once he got him there.
He's got those long legs. I think once he got the legs in and got control, that was where he was comfortable for sure.
Zach Knowlton, who had a really good win for Spring Hill in his first match against Bonner Springs, will now take the mat against Jarrett Hoyle of Lewisburg. Quick takedown for Knowlton.
Get poked in the eye.
I say Knowlton goes right to his face, his right eye, it looks like, after getting up.
Looked like he got poked in the eye or a
Yeah,
contact, both.
Probably ends up in both. A poke in the eye, which resulted in losing a contact, perhaps. I don't know if he.
He might just have gotten
The coach was pointing to his eye when they came over there, so hopefully. He said the coach just said he's got blood on his eyelid, so that must have been a pretty good poke.
Which is important to note that for the coach because it's a different type of time.
So they take a look here at Knowlton and Lewisburg taking advantage of the opportunity to get a little instruction in there for Jarrett Hoyle.
Yep.
Knowlton came out definitely the aggressor, and you have to think after his big win in the Bonner Springs duel over Cruz Lara that he's got some sky-high confidence coming in out of this one.
Absolutely. Hopefully he does, and that was a big win. It really was.
And Knowlton looks like he's about ready to come back out on the mat now.
You always worry about blood on the head, the eyes, because there's just it bleeds really easy. So hopefully it's not a recurring issue for him for the match.
So Knowlton ready to go again.
Oh, there we go.
So 2-0 here for Zach Knowlton of Spring Hill. 5A state qualifier last year for the Broncos as a sophomore.
Felt more comfortable on his feet.
Well, as the time it took him to get that first takedown, you
nice trip.
Aren't surprised to see him let him, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go with that tactic again.
I wouldn't either. He's got lots of time.
And so far, there's been very little resistance to the 2 takedowns for Knowlton, and yeah, he does. He goes ahead and lets him up, gives him the escape.
Yeah, Lewisburg's had a lot of action on the bottom, so sometimes it makes more sense to let him go. One, if that's your best position, being on your feet. And 2, you don't want to put yourself in a bad position if you got a guy on the bottom that's really active.
He's not going to let him up out of this one if he
he's
can avoid it. Gets the takedown right into a potential pin, and there's a long time for Hoyle to try to fight this one off. Still 45 seconds. He does get off his back, though, so good job by Hoyle.
Tried to switch off to a cradle. And they're back on their feet.
A 9-3 advantage for Zach Knowlton, who's been unstoppable on the takedown so far. He's got 3 of them.
Stayed low, kept good position, and just fought around the corner.
And adds
nice
one more takedown. Score. Yeah, 4 takedowns in the first period for Knowlton, along with 3 near-fall points. Hoyle got 3 points on 3 escapes. So a commanding lead for Zach Knowlton as we go into the second period. And Knowlton
going to give him the point?
Yep.
Go neutral.
After Hoyle shows the start down, Knowlton gives him the escape point and wants to go in for another takedown. He's already got 4.
Lewisburg kid reached over high and gave Knowlton a window.
So a 5th takedown for Zach Knowlton.
Straight to his half. Looking to put him away now.
Hoyle was able to fight off the last one, but not able to here. A dominant win there for Zach Knowlton. And that puts Spring Hill now on top here in this duel, 21-18, as we go to 152. This will be Noah Anderton against Jesse Murphy. And they have abandoned the PA, it sounds like, here as well. So unfortunately, this young man who's coming up next at 160, who had a nice win for Lewisburg, I was banking on getting the PA announcement during this duel who it would be, but There is no more PA, so so much for that.
Nice shot and finish.
Anderton.
There he goes. It's kind of in an awkward position.
Yeah.
He's just kind of taking what he can get. Now he's there. He's trying to get the crossface. There he goes.
Now he's got a little more weight up on that
Yep.
shoulder and neck area to try to keep those shoulder blades pinned down of Murphy.
Again, he was showing some patience. He waited until he had the opportunity. Kept himself in good position. In wrestling, it's all about where your hips are. Keeping them in good position. That's where everything moves from.
Now he's got him in a bad spot with 30 seconds to go. Murphy can't get out of that. That was patience, the right word, I think, right there on that match for Anderton. Showed a lot of it to get that win by a pin. So we will go to 160. And this is where Lewisburg, on the sheet I was given, was listed as open. Well, we might have it flipped around because I just heard a "let's go, Noah," and I had Noah listed at 152, so maybe that was Cole McDaniel who wrestled at 152, and now it's Noah Anderton, or maybe the kid from Lewisburg's name is Noah. There's just so many unknowns. (27-18) Spring Hill, and these have been some big points they're racking up here in these middle weights, because coming up in the upper weight classes, Lewisburg's got a couple of 2 or 3 guys who state qualifiers that perhaps are going to put up some points for the Wildcats. So the Broncos using these opportunities in the middle weights to pile up some team points to try to win this duel.
Yeah, this is an important match. Both of them kind of just working on head positioning right now. Pretty cautious. Last few seconds of the first period. In on a shot, but not enough time.
Waited to the last seconds to get that first shot of the period.
That was the first full shot we've seen.
Scoreless going into the second.
Get him on his hips. Looking for that half again. One of the most basic turns in wrestling, but it's efficient.
Going back for it.
Lewisburg's doing a good job defending it underneath. Spring Hill hop to the other side. Good technique. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's hopping sides, trying to get the half both ways, but Lewisburg's doing a great job defending it by turning his hips, turning his head. Got just enough space to get out.
So an escape for Lewisburg. It's the first point of this match here with under a minute left in the second period.
That's big points for Spring Hill.
Big time.
Again, he didn't quite have the front headlock, but he was in the right position. Let the Lewisburg kid get on his hips.
So that is 4 straight wins by fall for Spring Hill. So a big 24-point addition to the team score on those last 4 matches. As we have 5 remaining, Spring Hill has opened up a 15-point lead. And this will be Jacob Briley for Lewisburg against Fletcher Pankey of Spring Hill at 170.
Lewisburg's looking to throw. Nice reshot. Trip, but oh. Good little scramble there. Both of them had opportunities.
That was like the old slinky going down the stairs. The momentum just kept carrying him over, and Pankey looked like he was going to get control, but momentum kind of just flipped him right on over, and Briley ended up with it.
Like I said a minute ago, hips, hips, hips.
So a quick win there for Briley. 33-24, Spring Hill's lead as we go to 182. And you'll have a freshman, Casey O'Neill, going up against junior Aiden Barker for Lewisburg.
They're getting into the weights where they made their run against Bonner Springs.
Yep. Headgear came off of Barker as he gets the takedown on O'Neill.
Overpowered him there.
O'Neill does a good job at least bridging himself out of bounds.
Yep.
And you saw that, just that strength difference of the junior versus freshman here right there on that. Credit O'Neill, the freshman, not being afraid to stick his nose in there and go right after him.
Absolutely. It can be intimidating, especially like you said earlier in the upper weights where you know they're going to be upperclassmen.
4-0 lead for Aiden Barker of Lewisburg. Big match here at 182. Lewisburg could tighten this thing up with 3 to go, or Spring Hill could give themselves a nice little cushion with 3 matches to go in this duel.
Working that cradle again. He's got it tight.
And that's all she wrote on that one. Aiden Barker makes this a 3-point duel as we go to the 195 class. And this one should be a pretty good one here between Draven Pipkin and Jonathan Keegan-Childs. Didn't get to see either of these guys wrestle in their first duel, as Bonner Springs was open in both cases at 195 here. So Pipkin, only a sophomore, but a state qualifier from last year for Spring Hill. Finished 3rd at the Frontier League championships last year as a freshman. Keegan Childs, he was 4th place last year at the Frontier League Championships. Big match as well when you look at the dual team points here at 33-30 with just 2 to go after this one.
This is an important one for sure. Spring Hill needs to win, and they could use some bonus points too.
You got Alec Youngren for Lewisburg, a 2-time state qualifier transfer. He was at Olathe South last year, finished 3rd at 6A state for Olathe South last season. He's up next for Lewisburg against Andrew Campbell of Spring Hill. And then you got the heavyweights, Denver Gardner against Elijah Eschlinger, who both won their first duel of the night against Bonner Springs. So
it's looking like it might come down to it.
Yeah, this very well could be that heavyweight matchup might decide the duel. Pipkin would love to give his side a little breathing room, at least for Gardner, potentially, if it came down to that. And Campbell, of course, could pull off the upset for Spring Hill over Youngren at
nice takedown, feet to
and
back.
Pipkin getting that takedown and a chance to end this one quickly.
Changes off to the half. This is where you need to be patient.
Coach Jason Feeback, the head football coach of Spring Hill, told me back before football season started that Pipkin, who is a sophomore, was the strongest kid on the football team. And he said it wasn't a question. So,
well, he looks like it.
Yeah, and I did not call him a liar. Because, yeah, Pipkin is a strong young man, only a sophomore.
He doesn't look like a 10th grader.
Trying to show off that strength here in this one against the junior Jonathan Keegan Childs of Lewisburg.
Now he's a little more patient.
Yep.
Keep his hips back. Keep the pressure on his chest.
And he gets the win. So that's big for Spring Hill to go up 39-30 now with 2 matches to go. So now if you're Andrew Campbell, you've got a tough match here against Alec Youngren, but certainly want to go out there and try to win this match, but you can help your team in a big way by
for sure
just wrestling tough here and making Youngren earn this one a hard way.
And you know, Campbell's wrestling. He's experienced.
Yep.
He's been wrestling for a while. Got the headlock. Just couldn't quite get his hips back. He tried. He had the right technique. That's a tight one.
And Alec Youngren, quick victory, and it's going to come down to our heavyweight matchup between Denver Gardner and Elijah Eschlinger. Both guys won their match against Tony Caballero of Bonner Springs in their first duel tonight, so both 1-0 today, and they've got the fate of their teams in their hands here. This will be fun. Gardner a senior, Eschlinger only a sophomore.
Kind of feeling each other out. They know it's an important match, so.
And like you said, I mean, a lot of times in these heavyweights, one mistake can be the end of it for you.
Yep.
It is a tough spot, you know, I guess any weight class tough when you get on your back, but
sure.
Certainly when you've got these guys, the big guys on top of you.
Well, when the weight class limit's 285, you know, you may not weigh 285, you could weigh 245, so.
Yeah, there could be a good discrepancy in weight between guys once they get up in this heavyweight limit to the 220 to 285.
Absolutely. And I've seen some really good heavyweights that weigh 230. They're just real athletic and they move. But again, even them, when they get underneath the big boy.
And Gardner, again, who's a couple of years older than Esslinger, looks like he's got a little bit of size advantage in this one, and he's got the takedown as well. So that's big for Denver Gardner to give himself a 2-0 lead here midway through this first period.
He did a good job working on the body lock, so he stayed in good position, but he didn't try to throw him. He stayed calm, waited for the Lewisburg kid to get his hips in a bad position.
Now he's got a chance to use his size to kind of bear down on Esslinger and tire him out.
There you go. Working the butcher.
Almost has him turned.
He got exposure now.
There it is for Denver Gardner. He wins it by fall here with 29 seconds left in the first period and gives Spring Hill the victory tonight in this duel over Lewisburg, 45-36, as all three teams go 1-1 here at the Triangular. Spring Hill with a win over Lewisburg and a loss to Bonner Springs. Lewisburg, a win over Bonner Springs and a loss to Spring Hill. And Bonner, the win over Spring Hill and the loss to Lewisburg. So everybody goes home, I guess, somewhat happy tonight. Nobody had an 0 for night. Everybody gets some wins as far as the team goes, and saw some good wrestling here and an exciting finish with Denver Gardner getting that win in the first period over Elijah Esslinger to cap it off for Spring Hill.
Absolutely. It's always good to end the way in that way for the home team. And, all the schools, I'm sure their coaches are going to hit back tomorrow, and they have a lot of stuff to work on. But it's early. But it was a good competitive duel. The duels were close. No blowouts, so just good competitive wrestling.
9 straight matches finished with a pin to close out this duel, and of those 9, 6 of them won by Spring Hill to close this one out. And both teams were the beneficiary of 1 forfeit, so you can cross those off the list there. And it was all wins by fall other than our 1-0 decision win by Miles Bell. We had 2 forfeits, 11 pins, and a 1-0 decision to wrap up this duel here tonight.
That's not common.
To only have the 1 decision, or to have it only by 1-0.
Then it was a 1-0 decision.
So Spring Hill wins this duel over Lewisburg, and again, they finished 1-1 on the night, and that is going to wrap it up for us here this evening. That one went pretty quick, as we mentioned, with lots of falls. So not a whole lot to I guess, break down after that duel right there. But final thoughts from you, Matt, on what we just saw in this final duel tonight?
Well, like the other ones, it was kind of the ebb and flow of the evening. It seemed like Lewisburg might push on, but that's how wrestling is, and it's it's all about matchups. And they say that in all the sports, but wrestling, it really is the matchups that you have. And like you said, all the teams went 1-1, and they all beat each other, and that's a good thing. That's good for wrestling, that it's competitive. One team didn't come in and just dominate everybody. So it was good competitive wrestling, and luckily there weren't too many opens, so that just a few each there. So that's good. That's good, especially for classes that are 4 and 5A. That's good that they're getting kids out, especially with the pandemic and everything, that they're able to field almost full teams. So that's good, especially in this classifications in Kansas.
Yep, good that we just get to wrestle, and hopefully we get to do it all season long and make it through all of this. But glad we at least got tonight in.
Absolutely, yep. One day at a time.
Well, it's going to be a continuing busy week here on Spring Hill Sports Live tomorrow night. We'll be right back here in this gymnasium. As you can see, they're getting rid of the mats now. We'll get rid of the wrestling mats, get it back to the hardwood, and have some more hoops here in Spring Hill tomorrow night as the Baldwin Bulldogs come to town to take on the Spring Hill Broncos and some more Frontier League basketball action. So you can join us for that one. We'll be live at around 5:45, give or take what happens in the JV game prior, but scheduled for a 6 o'clock tip in the girls' game. Boys will follow. So join us for that tomorrow evening here on Spring Hill Sports Live. But until then, we'll let you go for now. For Matt Jones, thank you for joining us tonight.
Enjoyed myself. It was great.
Enjoyed the insight, and we'll look forward to doing it again, all right?
For sure. Thank you.
I'm Bryce Kessler. Thanks for joining us tonight. You've been watching Spring Hill High School Wrestling presented by Strode Orthodontics on Spring Hill Sports Live. Good night, everybody.
You've been watching Spring Hill High School Sports on your home for the Broncos, Spring Hill Sports Live. Spring Hill Sports Live is presented by Strode Orthodontics, creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Learn more at StrodeOrtho.com. Also by Cedar Lake Village, Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning, Elliott Group, Hers Incorporated, J&T Auto Service, Libby Clark at Allstate Insurance, Perfect Detail Salon, Price Chopper, Farm Bureau Financial Services Michael Grant Agency, Scott Electric, Prime Accounting Solutions, Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce, Seats Incorporated, Shoemaker Collision and Paint Center, Spring Hill Recreation Commission, Tony Sidoti Agency, Farmers Insurance, Spring Hill Fitness, and Whitesell Optometry Vision Source. Thanks for watching, and be sure to catch every second of the action